That's pretty good. We have the countdown directly timed with the music, all done on the fly. That's a good sign that we're going to have a lot of fun today. It is Friday, everyone. I hope you're all well and doing great. I'm looking forward to this public live stream to have just one of those old school CTM public live streams out in the open here on Friday, because there's a lot to talk about and there's a lot to do to go over, and I'm looking forward to doing it with you. Let's jump right in and get into the session. And we're looking at, did you notice, or I noticed at least, Bitcoin on the 8-hour time frame was just like moments away from closing at the last moment, 10 minutes, 15 minutes until signal period, just a half hour ago. It decided it was not going to close the trade for better or for worse. Bitcoin still holding on to a trade slightly into profit, and you could see how close the deviation was here at the bottom. It was set to close. It basically held on, and we're going to find out in 7.5 hours whether or not price is able to actually reverse back up. We got a lot of pressure on the markets today, and hold on to this trade a little bit further or get rid of it. And Bitcoin is very prone to taking profits quickly. Why Ethereum and Cardano, they're more apt to hold on to their trades for longer. Both of these trades on the 8-hour time frame holding nice into profit. We all know, by the way, that each and every single trade that we take, we will never take peak profit. We are always, because it's a momentum-based system, it's always giving back some before we take profit. These trades have room to roam or to give back a lot of profit. We got a lot of momentum kicking here to the downside. But just rewind 24 hours ago. 24 hours ago, we were watching or we were live together over here, and Bitcoin just began while we were live, resuming out over here. And then it was up all afternoon. And then on the Asian Open, or right around there, it just kicked up 4 or 5% very rapidly. And we're still a lot higher than we were yesterday. And Bitcoin, Ethereum here doing some Ether things yesterday. Sure enough, as was expected. I mean, I say that with a grain of salt. But we were looking for the Shanghai update to be more of, instead of the old adage, buy the rumor, sell the news. We were looking for like suppressed volatility into it and then out of it further volatility. And we have since seen that. And more importantly, I think that as the market goes, so will crypto, so will Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we'll be watching that, and we'll get into that in a little bit. This tweet this morning was inspired by a post over on the Discord. Even with an incredibly profitable edge in the markets, without discipline, you are nothing. Know thyself, master thyself, conquer the markets. Here's that post over here. And Timothy saying, let me go ahead and highlight this a little bit better then. Let me go ahead and get that over here. And Timothy is saying that with hard work and discipline, results will come. 97% of traders fail. Even with CTM 2.0 can be a profitable strategy, it relies also on your correct execution and detailed understanding of the strategy. I would watch every single live stream, whether live or replay if you cannot make it. I also suggest watching a single video, 10 to 15 minutes long, if it is a longer video, from the CTM 2.0 course each night as the very last thing you do before bed. That will help consolidate the information and help you retain it as a long-term knowledge. If you can treat trading seriously, like your own legitimate business and put in the work, then you will do as well as time goes on. And it's such important. It really inspired me. It inspired me to make sure that I continue that mentor hat, keep that on, because look, putting together CTM Hive Mind, collective collaboration, putting together such intense strategies in the markets is one thing. It takes that constant effort, that constant dedication, that constant work to be able to be disciplined and focused in on the execution. We could give you the roadmap. There's a difference between being able to follow the map and get to the destination. When I talk about the destination, I'm talking about we are looking to do extraordinary things. There are people who have done extraordinary things in the markets. Renaissance Technologies, after fees, averages about 65% a year. Warren Buffett, going back during this golden age for buy and hold investors, my uncle retired young. He had 2 newspaper routes, but he put all his money into the stock market and he held it, right? And what I'm getting at over here, his compounded annual growth rate, Warren Buffett, the legend himself, Bitcoin is rat poison, 52% year over year. Those are extraordinary returns. Bitcoin over here so far in 2023 is doing all right. Some people look at those returns and they're like, what? 2023, Bitcoin over here at 32%. It's a really, you have to have perspective. There are many people who have done really well during alt season who have taken a small amount of money and been able to turn it into a large amount of money. There are very few who have been able to hold on to those gains. There's a big difference between when the bull of all bulls is running and you're seeing like everyone's in expert phase, seeing people could do, or you could do no wrong, and the markets could be very forgiving. And there's a difference between over the next 10 years being able to do something life-changing financially. It's an enormous difference. You want to be in the latter camp. You want to make sure that you treat this as a business, that you are very serious about what you do, because there's nothing easy about the markets, even if you have a strategy like CTM 2.0 in front of you. Some people can't. I remember I was doing a live stream with someone and just coming back over here to 2018 and looking at Ethereum, you're like, wow, those are some serious returns. And then I added the bull market. And he's like, is that 4 million? 4 million. I was like, yeah, but look at the drawdown. Look at the drawdown. Bitcoin, Ethereum lagging Bitcoin here in 2023. I mean, holding up to a nice open trade. And if that winds up being realized, it could jumpstart. It could move ahead a little bit. But Bitcoin here has been leading the charge over here. And we're grateful for it. We just want to make sure whatever's happening, we stay on the right side. You can see Ethereum, this is looking in the green, is account balance. And I know this looks like, I say it all the time, I know this looks like it's up and to the right, right? I know it's up and to, oh, we got, you heard that little, whatever that sound was, that was an alert going off. So that's not gonna be the Discord. That's not gonna keep distracting us. But those alerts are important. So we got him up there. For head snack. We got you queued up just a little bit, my man. Hang in here and let's get going over here. It looks like it's up and to the right. Account balance. It's not the case at all. Most of the time, it's what I call running sideways. You see that blue line? That is the all-time high intratrade on the account balance. And you can see more often than not, you're running sideways in drawdown. Back and forth, before roaring in the bliss, making those new time, all-time high account highs. Ethereum's getting close over here, and Cardano now working itself off of the lows. Cardano, spectacular in the fourth quarter of 2022. Why, for the most part, Ethereum and Bitcoin were running sideways. That's why I call it the beautiful dance. Look, regardless of what you think, you cannot predict markets. And having an allocation, they don't all make new all times very often at the same time. Usually it's one or the other. By having a diversification of your allocation, it actually smooths out the return and it limits the drawdown. Really good thing to keep going. I was surprised this morning. By the way, just one thing, if you enjoy being here together, if at any point in time you learn something or appreciate the time shared, I know from Timothy's message alone, that's wisdom, and that's wisdom who only comes from someone who has put themselves into a position where they're on the right side, right? Now, if you do at any point in time, I appreciate you hit that thumbs up button. It really gets me fired up, and it does help the channel. Speaking of the channel, let me jump forward just a little bit over here. I was put out a poll yesterday. Which channel name do you prefer as it's stamped right now under my name, Jordan Lindsay, or the old classic Conquer Trading and Investing, or Conquer the Markets? And most people here on YouTube, this is a YouTube community poll, they went with Conquer Trading and Investing. Now on YouTube, on Twitter it was a little bit different. I asked those people over on Twitter as well, and it was almost neck and neck between Conquer Trading and Investing and Conquering the Markets. Most people on Twitter associate CTM with Conquering the Markets, but most people here on the YouTube, I think they like Conquer Trading and Investing. If you prefer one or the other, and you leave that in the comments today, that's going to help me make the final decision, and then I'll go ahead and I'll rebrand it either back to the old school, whatever wins. Conquer Trading and Investing, Conquering the Markets, or keep it as is. I was a little confused this morning. It's always exciting being here with all of you. I thrive off it. I enjoy it. And look, I was thinking right before going live about this incredible opportunity to be able to talk and discuss markets with all of you, to be able to impart any of my wisdom for this past 2.5 decades in the markets. And I was thinking that, it takes a lot of work, because a lot of people, they like to go with what seems to be easy. The Bitcoin right now is following the presidential cycle. Bitcoin is following the 4-year cycle. Bitcoin is following the Fed policy, the Fed monetary policy. You should consult all of those views. I don't know what is going to happen. I prefer to work really hard and stay in front of it and make sure that I stay on the right side. And I just don't take one thing someone says and then place all of my hopes on that. If I see something or I hear something that really doesn't sit well with me, maybe I let it go. If I see or hear something that challenges me, maybe I'll look more into it. I want to either firm up my own beliefs, or I want to be able to poke holes in whatever thesis I hold. When we say these are unprecedented times, that bothers people. It bothers people because, but I want it to be easy. I want to just be able to look at a chart that happened in the past and then hope that happens going forward. Remember what happened in November 2021? Fed changed the monetary policy. Scam. That guy really gets me. Did you hear FTX is considering, they just found $7-8 billion under the cushion? All of a sudden, could you imagine some of you were positioned correctly and Scam's whole charade went down, and those positions got hurt. And then all of a sudden they find all these billions of dollars. How do you misallocate billions of dollars? The Department of Defense is notorious for it, right? What was it, $2.1 trillion, September 10th, 2001? We just lost it. Either which way, they're planning on launching FTX. That stuff gets me crazy. I don't know where we got onto that or where we're going, but let me come back over here and discuss market. You never know what's going to happen anyway, right? You never know what's going to happen. But jumping back over here this morning kind of surprised me a little bit. I'm looking at the retail sales, and both of those were big misses. That's big misses over here. And then I see the dollar all of a sudden on the rise. Yesterday, it looked like, major double bottom breakdown of the dollar. Looks like it's heading towards the whole number, 100 on the DXY. If that doesn't hold, it's going lower, maybe even 97. We'll see what happens then. And everyone is written the dollar off. And then this morning you get poor retail sales number. The U.S. economy, which is hanging in there, now we're starting to see cracks in the job markets. And now we're seeing the consumer come off. Bad news, bears. Bad news, not for the bears. Bad news, bearish. And the dollar here starts all of a sudden, it threw me off. I didn't understand what was going on really. And I look over as I check in regularly with the probabilities for the May meeting, and I saw that, well, they're significantly higher. They were down like at 65% yesterday. And now it's almost assuredly that we're seeing a 25 basis point rate hike locked in for the May meeting. And then it wasn't until I saw this later that it made all sense. We saw hawkish comments coming from the Fed, sending May rate hike odds surging. Now, look, it was our belief that the Fed is going to hike 25 basis points. But again, we are in a super data dependent market, and we just don't know. And that's what we do. We put the work in every day, and then we try to go ahead, and then we make sure that we're able to continually form our best understanding of what's going on. I love the macro. I think that you should be the best at the macro. It's all for fun, though. Did you ever see a macro analyst that's able to time the market? I haven't, and they'll be the first to tell you they're really bad at it. And because they're really bad at it, they'll tell you that like no one could trade. That's nonsense. Don't believe that for a second. Just because someone sounds good and can tell you what happened after the fact does not mean that you should be listening to them. That's nonsense. We have a whole litany of traders in here following CTM 2.0 who know what's up. They know that when they're listening to whatever analyst out there, they know that they got a better edge. They know that they're standing shoulder to shoulder with better, just like-minded people over there who continue to build themselves up. And I don't know what happens in June, by the way. I look, we're data dependent. It looks like that we're headed towards a pause. If we get a rate hike a 25 basis point hike in May, and then good potential that we're pausing in June, that may or may not be. I'm looking at gasoline prices rising. I'm looking at oil prices rising. If those continue, we're going to be looking at inflation kind of kicking up a little bit potentially in month over month, not year over year, but that's all like, who cares? Inflation was ridiculous a year ago. And if inflation is still coming in at over 5%, it's still ridiculous. And the Fed, they want to do their best to make sure that they stay in front of that. There's nothing easy about any of this. It looks like to me, if something happens, just like with the U.S. banking situation, if something happens, the Fed will be there to backstop it. But I don't think that means that they're going to change their course so easily. I think that they want to make sure, they know that all they need to do if something happens, or they believe, and this is quite dangerous, because if it doesn't work, it will be a problem. But they believe if a problem arises, we just go ahead and backstop it and print dollars. Diminishing returns is real. Diminishing returns on Bitcoin is not a thing if adoption continues. An S-curve is going to get you, and it's going to lead into exponential growth. Now, if network effects stop, if Bitcoin adoption ceases, well, so is the price of Bitcoin. It's going to go up. It's not going to work out. But if all those things continue, but diminishing returns in this Ponzi scheme, the US dollar debt-based system, it does have a diminishing effect. And one day they're going to shoot off a bazooka, and then it's going to have all of a sudden this downward spiral. But that's why monetary reset is happening. That's why everyone looks towards 2030. That's why they're looking at, the Great Reset. We're going to make sure in these unprecedented times that we are prepared and that together we stay in front of it. If you have not yet hit the like button, please go ahead and hit the like button. We're looking here at, this is inverted, by the way. On the bottom, you're looking at U.S. Treasury with real yields. My man over here, ChatBTC, pointing out that the calculation of real yields involves subtracting inflation rate from the nominal rate. For example, if the nominal rate on Treasury issues bonds is 3% and the inflation rate is 2%, then the real yield will be 1%. And you could see this correlation lately. I think since 2020, it's really tight. Let me go ahead and jump back over here. And it's really tight since the COVID era. It's really tight. It's a lot looser. You can still see it. It's a lot looser. and it's been really tight. And the reason I think it's been tighter personally is because inflation is like a thing, right? It's a real concern over here. So real yields matter a lot. And then what we're looking at over here is a very tight correlation. And one of these is wrong. This is inverted, by the way, because if I show it to most people like this, they don't see it. They don't get it. And this chart would be missed on them. If I invert it, then they're able to see the direct relationship very clearly. So I invert it. You know, we're here to make things as easy as possible. It takes a lot of work. I hope you're ready to work. I hope you're ready to do whatever it takes. I know that I am. That's the type of mindset you need in order to be in the market for 20 years. Whatever it takes, I'm willing to put in the time. I'm willing to put in the work. Because you know what that leads to? That leads to freedom in the end. So, last time this happened, we're seeing Bitcoin over here shooting upwards. We have so many bullish repairs taking place in 2023 in Bitcoin. Right now, everyone's looking and they're like, Bitcoin bull market, baby. Bitcoin bull market. We're ready to go. If you remember, it was over here in December that I said bull market prediction. And then when we took the technical breakout, it's occurred. We had one get back on the right side of the market. This broke down. It was a failure. Got back ready on, looking short, position short, and then back up over here. And then on the right side, well ahead. And since then, we had 1, 2, 3 major repairs take place in the markets. Very bullish. Doesn't mean it's going to continue that way. I don't know what's going to happen. Unlike everyone else who catches, I don't know what's going to happen. I want to make sure that I stay on the right side. Bitcoin over here looking really good, but you're seeing the bond market is giving a different signal. Last time this happened, it did not work out well for Bitcoin. Bitcoin was the one wrong. It doesn't mean that's the case this time, but likely, bond market is usually correct. You could see this morning a repricing as people realize, you know what, the Fed didn't already pause. There's a 25 basis point hike coming into the market. Maybe bonds were a little bit wrongly priced, and then we're going to see a repricing occurring. We'll figure it out. Right now and thus far, though, Bitcoin remains. We'll look at where we are over here, and we maintain after that breakout above this level over here. What was it, 29,000, I'll call it, rounding up a little bit. Breaking out above there, that was a major repair taken out. That was over here, the resistance from the lunar low. And then you could see that we were consolidating under that resistance for a while. Breaking it above it is super bullish. In order for us to turn bearish on the markets, we're looking at around 27,500 where my mouse is right now. You have this trend line over here. Oh, I didn't mean to move it. I'm not going to get into why I placed it there, but you could see the resistance and the support. A breakdown below that would be a major breakdown. Closing below the resistance we took out, that would not be good, but I would call it neutral until we had the trend line break. I also like to look at it from one more different angle. I thought I had a chart up right over here. This is on the log scale, and you can see it. It's a little bit higher, 27,000 right now, 800 and rising. I'll be tracking those two lines if we get a breakdown below there. While we've put in 1, 2, 3, 4 repairs, that would be a breakdown, and we'll stay on the right side. And that means that likely we're going to come in and we're going to test this important breakout, right around $25,000. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden Bitcoin has the bears have reawoken or won, and that we're coming down to test or take out the lows. It means likely that we would be testing this breakout again. By the way, Bitcoin can consolidate in this area for a while, and that's super healthy. If the longer this consolidates over here, if it does break out above the resistance above us around 32 and change, that is good news. And that's likely taking us to 40K. However, you want to be looking about where you're wrong. And where you're wrong would be if you saw a breakdown. JC, big shout out, my brother. Iron sharpens iron. Love it. Conquer the markets is all inclusive. CTM covers so much more than trading and investing. Psychology, stamina, discipline, hard work. You guys all, I know, make me a better person, and I am grateful for each and every one of you. So looking at Bitcoin is very important from a discretionary level. And again, the longer we consolidate in this area between the resistance above and the support below, that's good news. And that could lead to a breakout above, and then next stop would be somewhere around $40,000. If you break down here, you're wrong. Stop listening to those. How many people told you this whole way up that this was nothing more than a trap? You don't know what's going to happen. You have to follow the technicals and stay on the right side. This is the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ here is so far looking good. What do I mean by that? We had one major repair take place right where I'm circling. This was the bear market trend line. Then this purple line over here, that was a second major repair, breakout, retest, resuming up. And you could see right now that where my mouse is, this is that resistance and this is support. Why we're above that, this is super bullish. It looks good here on the NASDAQ. If we break below that green line, we're likely going to come down and test that purple line. As long as we're above that, technically the NASDAQ is still super bullish. If we break below that purple line, you see this line over here connecting the 2023 low, and then over here into March low, I have that trend line. Break below that trend line, that sets up a sell impulse. That would be a very bearish event, and that has the potential to test the yearly lows and or go down for even further. I don't want to, well, look, that's a long ways away right now. Let's worry about we're still above the purple line. We got the bullish structure in place. We'll be here together to take it as it comes. Looking in and zooming in on the NASDAQ, you can see that we almost had a breakout. I have these two red trend lines over here. And price yesterday closing, was that yesterday? Take that back. Never closed above it, right? You can see the line above over here. This morning, it looked like on the poor retail sales, I believe, we were ready to kick back above. It could have been before then. Notice, though, more importantly, do you see this line over here that I'm highlighting? The structure of the market that I have that I'm highlighting? Look how we came into that line. And then you could see that we broke this morning. If I come down to a 2-hour time frame, you could see that the lower line here held briefly, and now we're trading below it. It looks very bearish to me. I'm surprised right now, actually, that Ethereum here continues to hold on pretty well as NASDAQ continues to trade near the lows of the session, as the dollar continues to trade near the high of the session, and as yields continue to trade towards the highs of the session as well. We saw that University of Michigan inflation expectations. Remember, inflation is largely psychological. The Fed does not like that. We look at inflation expectations soar the most in the 2 years. This is likely going to cause the Fed to continue its fight. We got over here a special treat. Head Snack just released a new track. I listened to it this morning. I'm not going to play it for you. I want you to play it yourself. I'm going to play you here like 5-10 seconds. You know, Head Snack is the one who created the Conquering the Markets theme song. I listened to this video over here. Lots of wisdom dropped in this track. Listen to the lyrics. Among my favorites, and when I am being selfless, I am most myself. Profound, deep. I really like it. You know what? It reminds me of the human experience that we're all on. Go ahead. I'm going to drop this in the comments. I appreciate each and every one of you here to help Head Snack, who's a creator out there working hard on his art, to go ahead and not only, whether you listen to it or not, let the whole thing play. Like, help the Google algorithm here gain some traction. And if you do like it, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button on that track. If you want to go ahead after you listen to it, leave a thoughtful comment about what you got out of that. That's just a small way we could repay Head Snack for all of the good vibes he shared with us with the Conquering the Markets theme song. I would really, really appreciate that. Yeah, so look, yeah, I mean, maybe you're as good as drawing lines as myself. Likely not. And if you were, then that's all you need to do to manage risk around. But I think the part that you're missing when I'm zoomed in over here and you're looking at those lines is noticing that these lines are the structure of the market. Look, I'll just do touches for you. Here's a touch, here's a touch, here's a touch, resistance, support, resistance. And these lines, you can find them all over the place, are the structure of the market. And each market, look, coming all the way back to here. It's just the same line cloned throughout. Look over here. So, I mean, yeah, if you draw enough lines, maybe you'll get lucky too. But my lines actually have a rhyme and a reason. And it's the structure of the market. And if you know how to manage your risk around these magic lines, yeah, then that's all you need. That's all you need. But again, and going back to the very beginning, even if you have a strategy with such an edge like CTM 2.0, there's a difference between you being able to follow it and execute off of it and you just lacking discipline. So whether you're using lines and using discretionary behavior with good risk management, or you're using a system with an edge, that's what it all comes down to. I hope that makes sense. Thank you, Jose. Really, really, everyone, show some love on there. My thoughts on Cardano are, yeah. So right now, Cardano is in a nice uptrend, and we're holding long. What happens from here, I have no idea. It depends on the greater markets. In 2022, like Cardano, we were just selling Cardano all of 2022. There was not one long trade on Cardano at all. And if the markets do roll over from here, and it's not a given that we've entered, I mean, we're seeing massive bull move, 98% off the lows on Bitcoin. We're seeing 4 major repairs, and it's super bullish. It doesn't mean that we're going like up to, like, we don't know what happens next. That's the whole point. So I don't know what happens with Cardano. Maybe in a session next week, I'll pull up Cardano's network effects and addresses. We'll take a look at whether in this bear market we're looking at adoption. I don't know. I do think that when the next alt season arrives, you will see massive and rampant speculation. I do think that once the tidal wave of liquidity enters the market, that the bull of all bulls is going to run. And when it does, it will be the rising tide that lifts all boats. But right now, we are far from that. We are like still in the midst of the tightening cycle. We haven't even gotten into the point where they pause the rate hikes. When we do, we have to watch if the markets are able to rally or they sell off. And then the trouble becomes around the time they start cutting rates. So we still got a long way to go. Now, a lot of people are also adamant once they cut rates that it's game over. That may or may not be the case. It really depends at that point in time what they're doing with the balance sheet. If they are running QE at the same time as cutting rates, QE is going to trump the rate cuts. So we need to take it as it comes, and that means it takes a lot of work. All right. So let's keep going over here. This is the daily time frame. Looking at the daily time frame here, 2023, spectacular for Bitcoin. It's so easy to trade the daily time frame. 8-hour returns are significantly greater. Now, it so happens in these past 3 months that the daily time frame is outperforming the 8-hour. That is not likely a trend that continues. The daily is much easier in so much as there's only once a day you have a potential option. You could see Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano holding on to sizable gains over here. And we'll see if that continues. Again, I have no crystal ball. I only know how to do my best and stay on the right side. All right, I thought we were going to get... Ooh, there we go. All right, so Jacob, for sure, CTM, like that's the hashtag on Twitter. So the dollar sign mentioned, like the name of the channel is Conquer Trading and Investing, and what we do is conquer the markets, and that's all true. I mean, the name of the channel can't be CTM, or can it? I don't know. Or does that mean that since CTM is the most memorable, that it should be conquering the markets? At the same time, I have to go with my fam. You guys are all pointing towards Conquer Trading and Investing. If anyone out there believes that it should be conquering the markets, go ahead and vote on that poll right now, and I'll see if we move up from the 27% and then see what happens over there. Doug, great to see you. Everyone, great to see you. 81 likes, massive response. Thank you all for being here this Friday, this fun Friday. And you know what? I really enjoy these public live streams. We're going to have to do a lot more of them. But for now, I'm going to say I wish you all have an incredible weekend. Have a beautiful weekend. Get rest. We have a lot of work to do in the coming week ahead. Everyone, God bless you. Thank you for being here. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. I'll talk to you all later. All right, everyone. I'll see you soon. CTM, trading and investing. Ooh, that might be a great one. CTM, and then in quotes, the trading and investing. I like that a lot. Does anyone else like that? Let me go ahead and take a screenshot of that. No, CTM will always be CTM will be CTM. Even if we go with Conquer Trading and Investing, it'll be CTM. Omicron, everyone, thank you. S&P 500, I got it queued up right over here. Let me jump into it. And so S&P 500, really important over here. Why? I was kind of lost over here, very neutral, didn't know what was going on, what was next. I know that we held, this is a breakout of the bear market trend line, came in and then retested it and held here like by a thread. You could see the wicks under it. We didn't close above it. And then we were just over here and it wasn't clear to me. CTM helped this little pendant over here and we broke above it. That set us off with a bullish repair for sure and a confirmation. And the next line we were looking at was this red line over here. We closed above it yesterday. Looks like we were beginning to run. And now over here, as a lot more people are realizing that, you know what, the Fed is set for a 25 basis point hike. It looked then that this could be a potential fake out here. If you see the above, the liquidity grab over here, a lot of people were a little late on this red line finally turning bullish. And then market sometimes catches people off. Now we don't know for sure. We don't even know by the end of today if this closes above or below. We still got some time over here. It's the green line, that sell impulse. If price closes below it, that's the major breakdown we're watching. And until then, we have a bullish bias for sure. Everyone have a beautiful weekend. Thanks for all the feedback. I really appreciate that. Conquer the markets, trading and investing. I don't know if that's too long or not. I like the name of it. CTM is a staple. There's no question about that. All right, everyone. Let's check in with Head Snack over here, where we left it off last. All right. Last we had 19 views. Oh, no, that was 35 views last I saw with 7 likes. Let's hope we got a couple of likes in here. 27 likes, 60 views, setting off a little love for the algorithm. Everyone, thank you for doing that. Really, 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 really awesome of you. All right, everyone. I'm just going to throw this in one more time just in case someone missed it. If you didn't click on the link yet, help a brother out. Show us there's a really, 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 really good video. Really thoughtful. Took a massive amount of effort and time. Beautiful art. Go ahead and watch it. Hit the like button. And if you haven't yet subscribed to Head Snack's channel, you know I am. All right, everyone. Yeah, thanks, Head Snack. We're looking forward to that. We gotta launch that right around when the Bull of all bulls begins running. The next time we're in too, like there's a difference between Bitcoin bottoming and then maybe I have it over here. Let me try one more chart with y'all. Right? We're looking for the green line is like this is the earliest opportunity for the bottom. This is a CTM collaboration. This is me drawing this line here, and this line here. I take that back. I drew this line like this. And then someone else points to this line over here. It's bolder because it's more important. You notice that this cycle has a very similar structure to this one over here. And then we were able to go ahead and figure out that like the green lines, just again moving these lines, and why do all these markets have a particular structure about them? But this green line over here is the lowest breakout, and you want to be early. But it's not until we break above the outer one that we have the beginning, the legit beginning of the bull market breaking out. And, we're going to keep going. All right, everyone. Conquer trading and investing does roll off the tongue. It's like 50-50. So many people prefer them both. Let's go see if there was any type of repricing over here. Not too much. It's a tough one. I did like CTM trading and investing and conquering the markets, trading and investing. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for being here. See you all on Monday.